So here we have this course variable set to Python programming. As I told you before, whenever you work with text, you should surround your text with quotes. You can either use double quotes or single quotes. That's more of a personal preference, but quite often we use double quotes. We also have triple quotes, and we use them to format a long string. For example, if you have, let's say, a variable message, that is the message we want to include in the body of an email, you can use triple quotes to format it like this. Hi, John. This is Mosh from codewithmosh.com, blah, blah, blah. So that's when we use triple quotes. Now, we don't need this in this lecture, so delete. Let me show you a few useful things you can do with strings. First of all, we have this built-in function in Python for getting the length of strings. What is a function? A function is basically a reusable piece of code that carries out a task. As a metaphor, think of the remote control of your TV. On this remote control, you have buttons for different functions, like turn on, turn off, change the channel, and so on. These are the built-in functions in your TV. In Python and many other programming languages, we have the exact same concept. So we have functions that are built into the language and the platform. You can reuse these functions to perform various tasks. So here we can use the built-in len function to get the length of a string, which means the number of characters in that string. Now, whenever you want to use a function, you should use parentheses. Now we say we're calling this function, which basically means we're using this function. Now, some functions take additional data, which we refer to as arguments. These arguments are inputs to these functions. So this len function takes an input or an argument. Here we pass our course variable, and this will return the number of characters in this string. So let's print that and see what we get. Run the program. We get 18 because we have 18 characters here. Let's look at another example. If you want to get access to a specific character in this string, you use the square bracket notation. So here we add course, square brackets. To get the first character, you use the index 0. So in Python, like many other languages, strings are 0 indexed, which means the index of the first character or the first element is 0. So now when we print this, we'll get P, okay? Now you can also use a negative index, like -1. What does that mean? Well, if 0 represents the first character here, what do you think -1 represents? That takes us back to the end of the string. So that returns the first character from the end of the string. Let's run this program. You will see we'll get G. There you go. Using a similar syntax, you can slice strings. Let me show you. So I'm going to duplicate this line and remove -1. Now let's say we want to extract the first 3 characters in this string. So here we need 2 indexes. The start index, colon, the end index. So this will return a new string that contains the first 3 characters in this course variable. That will be P, Y, and T. So the index of these characters are 0, 1, and 2. So that means the character at the end index is not included, okay? Let's run the program and make sure we get the right result. There you go, PYT. Now, what if we don't include the end index? What do you think we're going to get? It's common sense. We start from index 0 and go all the way to the end of the string. So this will return a new string that is exactly the same as the original string. Let's take a look. So we get Python programming. Now, what if we don't include the start index, but include the end index? What do you think we're going to get? Once again, it's common sense. So by default, Python will put 0 here. So it will start from the beginning of the string. So when I run this program, we should get PYT one more time. There you go. And finally, as the last example, if we don't include the start and the end index, this will return a copy of the original string. Let's look at this. So we get Python programming. Now, you don't have to memorize any of these. Just remember, we use the len function to get the length of a string. We use bracket notation to get access to a specific element or a specific character. And we use this notation to slice a string.